What's up, guys? This is Brave. I'm back with another review of a show that we all love, and that is The Belle Collective. You already know Carlos King has a hit with this show, and let's get right into it because, baby, the drama is already here at our front door. Okay? This is the first episode of season 3, and we start off with Latrice. Here's the one thing that stood out to me about this episode. It's the fact that we're introducing the ladies like every time they came on screen, and then they're kind of giving a background as to who they are. I'm like, baby, we're 3 seasons in. Why is Latrice telling us how she owns a store and who she's married to? We know this information. Nonetheless, here's the thing about Latrice. So, her and Daddy are going through some things, okay? Her and her husband are having some issues right now. It's to the point where they are sleeping in separate bedrooms, okay? Another problem is that in the city of Jackson right now, well, not right now, but while they're filming the show, there's actually a water crisis. So you guys remember what happened in, I want to say it was Flint, Michigan, where they had like some water issues? They're having water issues in Jackson. Now, this does not affect her, but it does affect her employees. So we see that her employee, Joshy, who is her store manager, he has come to stay with them. Honestly, here's my thing about Joshy. I feel like he's meddling where he doesn't need to, if I'm being honest. You're living at their house for free, and you're not making any of the situations better. You're actually stirring up more trouble. Like the fact that he sat there in the confessional saying how, Cliff is an old man who just gets mad at all the things that I say, and it turns me on. I'm like, turns you on? Did you mean to say that? Like, it's one thing for you to say, like, I get a kick out of aggravating him, but turning you on, I don't think that was the right thing to say, sir. That kind of gives me the vibe that, like, you may have a little thing for Cliff. Nonetheless, like I said, you have Cliff and Latrice. They're getting into it quite often, clearly in their marriage. And it's to the point where Latrice kind of shuts down. And we see her have a conversation with Josh, and he's basically telling her like, why do you let him do this to you? Like, why are you basically, stuck up in this room? And she's like, well, this is my marriage. I love my husband. I feel like Latrice is finally realizing that maybe this was not all what it was cracked up to be when you marry an older man. Now, me personally, I have always had issues with this idea of people dating someone who's like 20 years older than them. Hell, actually 10 years older, if we're going to be honest, just because I feel like that person the older person is always trying to mold you and shape you into whatever their idea is of who you should be. Because think about it, Latrice got with this man when she had to have been in her 20s. So now that she's older, I think that she's realizing that there's things that she may want to do, but here comes her husband who's shutting it down because he doesn't want her to do these things. So, in that regard, I feel like Josh is definitely saying things that Latrice is feeling. However, I don't think that Josh is in the place to really help her figure out what she wants to do because it does seem like he loves to be messy, if that makes sense. But we shall see what the season brings when it comes to Joshy being in their house. Because me personally, I do think that Josh needs to go. Because, sir, you're coming in and we're helping you out. We're not charging you rent. We're not doing any of that. What you're not about to do is cause drama with my husband. What you're not about to do is try to jump into our conversations in our business. It's one thing for you to pull Latrice to the side after you see them arguing or having a disagreement, and you say, "Hey, girl, you okay? Because that argument was intense back there." You know what I'm saying? But it's no cause for you to jump in a conversation and then stir more mess up. But let's go ahead and move on because the next thing we got, y'all, it is Letitia. Now, Letitia says that baby business is booming for her. Now, y'all, what does that business entail? I'm not really sure because last time I checked, she was the lady who threw brunches. So maybe she popping and she's throwing brunches all around the world. I don't know. But also, she says she has like speaking engagements. I don't know who wants to hear Letitia talk about what, but it's a thing for her. But here's the thing, her personal life, that's a whole nother story because she basically got played by her husband. So after the reunion, where they cried together because they found out that he wasn't the father of that other child that he supposedly had, um, she went back to Glendale. They moved in together. She slept with him, and come to find out, he went right on back to using social media and talking to random women. So yeah, she felt stupid. She felt played. Now she has moved out and she lives with her mom while he's still living at his place. So now we see that they're doing a child exchange because they're splitting their time with their son. So sometimes Glenn gets him, sometimes Letitia gets him. So they meet up or whatever. And I was so annoyed when Glenn was like, yeah, because he loved his daddy. I'm like, yeah, your child should love their father. Why are we saying this? Then he tried to finesse it and say, because I hope that you would love me the same way he do. Goodbye, Glendale. So they have a conversation, and in this conversation, Glenn had too much audacity for me. First off, this man, he feels some type of way because when she did sleep with him, she made him use a condom. And I'm like, yeah, because we don't know who you messing with, sir. I think that was very smart of her. Then he compared it to being with a prostitute, so I could have just put the money on the dresser. Sir, you're saying that to your wife. Who does that? So she has to let him know that, I can't tell you how to be my husband. But according to him, he's an 80-20 guy, you know. And if you can handle the 20% of all his shenanigans, then you gonna love the other 80%. Negro, you got to go. Letitia, I get it. You like this man, you have loved this man, but it's time to let this man go. Now I'm trying to figure out, how does Glendale have so much time on his hands? Because last time I checked, that man was supposed to be on the boats. Have y'all noticed since season 2, he ain't been on them damn boats? Ain't he supposed to be gone for weeks at a time? How he always around for filming? And also, have y'all peeped the chain that's around Glenn neck? Sir, whose money paid for that? Please let me know. Because you wasn't looking like that season 1. And are you like trying to be like a young guy? Because you out here looking like an older young Dro. What is going on right now? And it was crazy to me when she lets him know, giving him a heads up, like, hey, I'm thinking of finding my own place. He has so much issue with this. Like, you say that we need to have some structure with our son and you try to move. It's like, dude, well, she already living at her mama house. I'm pretty sure it's crowded over there. She wants her own space. And then for him to go on and talk about how they were supposed to be committed to each other and all this stuff, it's like, but sir, you keep doing things that go against what your marriage is supposed to be. You're the one who's flirting with other women in your DMs. You're the one who possibly fathered a child outside of your marriage. I'm not understanding how you're not comprehending all the things that you're doing wrong. All right, y'all. Now let's go ahead and move on to So Gucci. I feel like we're going to get more of So Gucci this season because last season, yeah, we got a little bit of her, but not really. I think we're going to get way more scenes with her this season. So she catches us up on what's going on with her. She's still doing real estate. Her daughter has joined her doing the real estate. And we also learned that one of JJ's daughters is pregnant. I can't remember which twin it is, but one of them is pregnant. The girls are getting along more because now they have more in common. They both are a mom and mom to be. So I'm glad that has been squashed. But let's get on to the foolishness of JJ. So he decides that he's going to make a nice dinner for his wife, which is great. However, he decided that he wanted to go very, baby boy, Ving Rhames style. Just wear a apron and have his nips out. Sir, put a shirt on, please. And then on top of that, he has the audacity to have this thick, big chain on. Like, sir, what is going on with you? Now, I will say this, y'all. I think we have a new drinking game that we could do with JJ. Follow me. Y'all, that man said, gosh darn it, so much. I'm telling you, if you take a shot every time, that you hear him say that, I promise you gonna be toe up. You gonna be toe up, and they may only have a 4 minute scene. I promise. So she gets home. She still got her work clothes on. She changed out into a really cute outfit. I said, okay, so Gucci. Like, I know she said that she's what, a fitness instructor or a fitness model. Her body is great. Like, seriously. So they sit down, they have a meal together. They say because they don't get enough quality time together. So this was JJ making, an effort. So he goes on to talk about how, this is what we can do all the time because, now we're empty nesters, because D moved out. But so Gucci is like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but, I still want to be involved with my daughter, my granddaughter, and all this stuff. He's like, I want to make sure that I still have time for you when my grandchild arrives because, like I said, his daughter's having a baby. So she's really trying to figure out why is he being so nice. So he slips in the idea that his mom wants to move in with them. Baby, she's not here for it. Now, here's the thing. JJ has already made the decision that it's cool for his mom to move in. So Gucci is over it. She's pissed off about it, actually. She's like, she's cool when she visits, but to stay, absolutely not. And I kind of feel two ways about this. I understand where So Gucci is coming from because they just got her daughter out of the house. So this is what, the first time that they've had the house to themselves. And also, you're adding another adult to the equation who may have opinions about the way you do things, all types of stuff. Even though JJ said that, like, her and his mom get along well. Now, when it comes to JJ, though, I kind of understand why he probably wants his mom closer than further away. Because, let's be for real, JJ ain't young. JJ gotta be 40 something pushing 50, if not already 50, okay? His mama gotta be up there. So, I know for a lot of people, they feel like, you know what? Once my parents get into old age, I would rather them stay with me so that way I can look after them. I see that because I know for me personally, I would definitely, take care of my mom when she was in her older age. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a no brainer. I'm not about to see you to no nursing home or none of that. But to each their own. So we shall see what happens when JJ's mama gets there. All right, y'all. Now let's slide on over to Tambra Cherie. I'm sorry, I can't get her voice down, but she's so extra. So she reintroduces herself as the midday diva. She still works at the radio station, but according to her, she is booked, blessed, and busy. Her and Damon, they have moved in together with each other. But baby, that ain't even working. They sit down and they have a conversation where Tambra Cherie decides to tell him that she needs her own space. She feels like she needs like a little condo, an apartment, somewhere where she can just have some space to herself because, he has a man cave in the house. I'm like, first off, this house does not look like it is a small house. It looks like it could possibly be, a nice 3 bedroom house. I'm pretty sure there's space for you to, make your own way or at least have like your own room there where you can just zen out. But no, baby girl wants her own place, aka she don't want to be with the mom. She's trying to ease her way up out of this relationship. According to him, they haven't had sex in 2 months. I'm like, what is going on here? So, according to her, she's like, in her confessional, I thought that the person that I was going to be living with would be the person that I would be marrying. Girl, at this big age, why are you still living in fairy tale land? Like, I feel like Tambra is really still living in the mindset of being like a 21-year-old person who feels like she's going to fall in love with someone. They're going to get married and then they're going to have kids and have a house with a picket fence. Like, baby girl is tripping. Like, can you please snap into reality? You're 40 something pushing 50. At this point, you need to find a companion, someone that you want to, hang out with. Like, your scope on life should have changed by now. Now, I understand this idea of, I want to be married. That I understand. But let's not forget, this is the same person who had the storyline that she wanted to have a baby, but she was still having her man use condoms. So I was like, how was that going to work? But then you also want him to marry you? Like, it's too much. Just say, Damon, are you going to marry me within like the next 3 months? Because if not, we could go ahead and let this relationship go. Because in my mind, I need to be married as well as living with you, and then we could possibly have that baby. Just say that, girl. Now, y'all, I completely forgot what Damon does for a living. Clearly, it has something to do with physical labor because he was calling her out about how she was going on of how she can't cook for him because she's just so busy, and by the time she gets home, it's time for bed, all this stuff. And he's like, okay, well, all you do is sit in the chair all day. And she's like, I help thousands of people. And he's like, yeah, but you still be sitting in a chair all day. And I mean, I will say this, as a radio DJ, I don't even know if she's a DJ, she's just a radio host. Um, you are just sitting in the in the chair, sitting in the studio. Sure, there's thousands of people who are listening to the radio, but at the same time, like, don't act like you're physically interacting with thousands of people and you're going from person to person helping them out. Let's not do that, Tambra. Now, in her confessional, she says that Damon will make a great father, but she doesn't think that he's going to make a great husband for her. And I'm just like, well, girl, could you tell him that? Because what you could have done is like, listen, you ain't got no kids, I ain't got no kids, and I think that we both could be great at co-parenting. Let's go ahead and make this baby. You can go ahead and do your thing, I'll do mine. Because it's clear that you wanted the baby, but that don't mean you gotta stick with the mom. But let's go ahead and move on to talk to Aikisha. First things first, baby girl's throwing shade because she mentioned how, she's trying to do all this stuff for Ferris Street, and the partners that she has, they have the coins to do what she needs to do. And I'm just like, ooh, are you throwing shade at Letitia, girl? I don't know how this is going to play out for you. Because let's not forget, this was Letitia's idea to begin with. You just came on the second season and took over it. All right, so we learned that her husband is going to be in New York because he is a sports analyst and he films or records Monday through Friday. I said, well, girl, he didn't want to be down there to begin with. Now, the sucky part for her is that now she has to do all the business that she's doing as well as raise both of their kids by herself. And I'm pretty sure that's very hard. All right, now, so Gucci comes over. And we learn that these two have actually hit it off and they've become friends. Which I'm like, you know what? I don't even mind that because they both came in, they were new girls. So if they want to be cool, cool. So here goes So Gucci stirring up the mess, talking about some, have you talked to Tambra? Your BFF? And we all know she do not like Tambra because she feels like Tambra lied, not only to her, but also to the girls, because she told the girls that she had called them ugly and that also she didn't want her on the show. So, like, she not feeling Tambra. Now, so Gucci's like, y'all just need to have a conversation. And Aikisha's like, no, I don't want to talk to her because she feels like she's not the same person that she once knew. Now, yes, she says that she knew her 20 years ago, but baby, a lot can happen in 20 years and people are not the same people that you knew from high school. Please know that. So here's the thing though. Aikisha pointed out something that I didn't even realize. She's like, Letitia is the one who started up with you. It's referring to Tambra. She brought in an outsider. She questioned your man. Like, Letitia was really all in Tambra's business when it came to her and Damon, if we want to be honest. But I honestly did not remember that Tambra was the one who was over there trying to console Letitia while they were at the reunion last time. Like, I did not even realize that. And Aikisha's like, girl, you mad at the wrong person. And I'm like, well, when you say that, you put some things into perspective, girl. Now let's move on over to the scene where we got with So Gucci, Letitia, and Miss Marie Monroe. Y'all, I love the way that lady talk. Nonetheless, here's the thing. Letitia is looking for a place. So of course she has Gucci, who is a realtor, help her find a place. She found her a nice little 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom place. Cool. So Marie, she's gonna, pop up and see what's going on with the ladies. First things first. Again, like I said at the top of this review, everybody is reintroducing themselves. But here goes Marie. She says, because I have Zuri Marie Cosmetics, I have Zuri Marie Hair Care, Zuri Marie Fashion Design, Zuri Marie Home Decor, Zuri Marie Weed Dispensary, Zuri Marie Methadone Clinics. I said, girl, y'all go Zuri Marie us to death, ain't you? So now that she's here, So Gucci shows them around the property or whatever. I feel like it was cute for what it was. Because we don't know what the budget was for Letitia, but, it was something that was just going to be for her and her son anyways. So it's not like she needed a whole bunch of space and all that. And they said that it was good schools in the neighborhood. Cool. That's the important stuff. Nonetheless, so then they start talking about, the reason why they reached out to So Gucci is because, she's the best at realty. So that opens the floor for So Gucci to let them know that she felt some type of way about Latrice. Because she was helping Latrice find a commercial property, but come to find out, she looked on social media, she ended up going with a whole other realtor to find the property that she needed. I mean, maybe So Gucci wasn't, moving as fast as she would like. I have no idea. We haven't gotten to Latrice's side of the story yet. Besides that, you have Marie Monroe saying, I told y'all that she was a snake. I told you at the reunion. And I'm like, I thought y'all called a truce. I thought you and Latrice were good now. Is that not a thing anymore? But nonetheless, Marie goes on to ask, what's her name? Latrice. No, not Latrice, I'm sorry, Letitia. Girl, so are you done sleeping with your husband so that we can go ahead and cut all of this off? Because this is cute that you looking for a place. But if he gonna be here, in and out, this was a waste of time. Now she didn't say all that, but that's my perspective. So Latrice, she is honest, I slept with him that one time, but that was it, or whatever. And Marie is like, I don't believe you. She definitely thinks it was probably more than one time. And she probably still gonna be sleeping with Glen. Come on now. Alright, so let's go ahead and slide on over to Latrice. We see that she's at Goddess Lengths. And here's the thing. She's talking to Joshi. And they talk about how basically she thought she was going to get a property that she didn't. So Gucci told her that she had a property or whatever that was ready to go. So I feel like Latrice jumped the gun and basically probably told her landlord like, oh yeah, we go ahead, we gonna move on up out of here or whatever because I'm getting another place before her deal went through. So I'm just like, well, Latrice, that sounds like that's on you because things happen all the time in real estate. So until you sign that paperwork, don't be sitting up here making all your moves as if, everything was a signed sealed deal. Like, I feel like you have some accountability that you need to go ahead and take on. So now she only has one side of the building because the owner had already leased the other side of it, and it's clear that they're working in a tight, cramped space. But I guess she did find a property. Here's the problem. It won't be ready for another 6 months. So, yeah, girl, you're going to be there for a minute. And hopefully, within those 6 months, everything gets done. Because, again, a lot of times when it comes to fixing places up to how you want them, there's a lot of delays. You have to wait on permits. Like, there's just a lot that can happen. So, the producer ends up asking her, like, how do you feel like the number one realtor in Jackson dropped the ball? And she's like, I gave So Gucci that name. And I was like, oh, okay, girl. So Latrice feels like, So Gucci just wasn't moving fast enough for her. So Latrice goes on to talk about how, at the new place, they're going to have salon suites above the store, right? Which is cool. And Josh is like, okay, so am I getting a salon suite? She's like, well, you need to figure out what you want to do. Like, do you want to work in the store or do you want to do makeup? And he felt some type of way. I'm like, well, sir, you can't do both. So either you're going to be the manager or you're going to be upstairs doing makeup and somebody else is going to be the store manager. So then he goes on to tell Latrice how he felt about things. And she's like, well, I don't feel like, you respect me. You don't respect my house. You don't respect my husband. And I'm just like, well, girl, if you feel that way about Joshy, he needs to get about your house because you're listing all these things and it's clear that the lines are getting blurry and things are getting crossed because not only is he an employee of yours, he's also a friend. But because he's your friend, I think that he probably does have times where he takes advantage. Now, what was crazy to me is how Josh felt like, he doesn't know where or what place he should be in when it comes to Latrice because, when she's with her husband, she acts one way, but when she's not with him, she acts a different way. So she's like, you should be in a friend's place. And I'm like, exactly. What the heck are we talking about, Josh? Like, are you about to, like, stand up for her or something in a situation? Because right now, that's not what it's looking like. It's not like you're standing up for Latrice when you notice that Cliff is acting out. That's not what's going on. You're egging on the behavior. Because I was so confused as to why Joshy went on and on about how Cliff doesn't have the best body. And Cliff, he does this, that, and other. And I'm just like, wait, but why is that even something that you're paying attention to? Like, so what if he light skinned with curly hair? Who cares? That has nothing to do with the way he treats your friend. You know what I'm saying? So then we have Joshy going on about how, the only reason why they want him out of her house is because, they don't want people to know what's really going on in their household. And I'm like, well, technically, nobody wants people to know what's going on in their household, okay? Number one. Number two, they want you to get out of the house because you keep stirring mess up. That's why. Like, there's no reason for you to go at Cliff when it's not in defense of your friend. You get what I'm saying? Like, let me know if y'all understand what I'm saying. Like, because it sounds like you just go up in there and be like, Cliff, you not even talking English. Cliff, you doing this, that, and other. Just stirring stuff up with this old man. And that just makes him have an attitude with Latrice because at the end of the day, you are her friend and her employee. So he's probably going to come at Latrice about the things that you say and do, which is what? Stirring up more mess. I mean, their conversation ended with him saying that he did not want her married because he wants to see her happy. Now, I'm all for seeing your friends be happy, but I feel like her marriage, that's her decision. But let's go ahead and move on, y'all. So, this next scene was actually very hard to watch because we got a first hand look of why Latrice is sleeping in a separate bedroom from her husband. Her and her friend decides to go to a bar. Last minute, probably hit each other up like, girl, what you doing? Let's just go down to this bar, have a drink, catch up. I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened. Cliff gets wind of it. He shows up to the bar and he's pissed off, telling her to take her mic off because they have to have a conversation outside. All this stuff because how dare she go to a bar without his permission? Yes, he said his permission, y'all, as if this Negro is signing permission slips so that she can go on a field trip. Sir, she's a grown woman. What are we doing here? And it sounds like when she was explaining to him, this was going to be a scene shot with me, my homegirl, and Joshy. You didn't even need to be here. And he's like, what, y'all's going to talk about me? All this stuff. And he's like, oh, do you have a mic on? She's, yeah, I have a mic on because what? She was about to film a scene. Y'all, why did he take the mic off? And she tells him, like, don't break their mics. Because, like, again, why are you breaking things from production? Like, come on now, it's not their fault. Y'all, he took the mic pack and just tossed it. Y'all, here's the thing. Mic packs are not cheap, okay? Especially if they're high quality. Like, sir, don't tear up these people's stuff. Please don't do that. And then we see him grabbing her, pushing her towards the car. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, Cliff was on one, okay? He called her out her name, called her a snake, saying you're being a snake like the snake that you are. I mean, he was going off. Something about Joshy and how he doesn't want her to film with him no more. Like, it's a whole thing. And I'm just like, yikes. Because this is not what I expected, especially not the first episode. Like, you know what I'm saying? I do think that they shouldn't be together. I've always thought that though, because I feel like he probably used his money to get her business started up. And I feel like he was an older man with money. And, he was charming her when they first got together. But like I said earlier, now she's grown as a person. And now you get to see who this man really is. It's not cute no more. The things that he was doing when you was like 20 something, 27, 28 years old, because you thought that he was protecting you. But really, he was over trying to hold you back. Because this right here is out of line. Now, when it comes to Joshy, y'all, I know I said that he needs to go ahead, get out their house, get out their business, stop stirring stuff up. I still believe that for sure. But if he wants to be a real friend to Latrice, he needs to be a person who can give her sound advice on how she can, figure out a way to either make this marriage work, if that's what she chooses to do, or, figure out ways to help her, relieve some stress, plan a spa day, do something so that way, you know what I'm saying? You're more of a friend than a person who's trying to be messy. But y'all, that was the episode, and it said to be continued. I cannot wait for the next episode. I feel like Belle Collective is probably going to be bringing it this season. Y'all, drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.